So she's also seen me, overcoming some of these really difficult Hollow Knight bosses, just kind of settling into it and going, one more run. Let's do the run back. Let's run it back. Let's do it again. The Hollow Knight boss just ate my butt. Like, let's do it again, Hello. This is a time for video games. This is the place to talk about them. It's a video game podcast for adult gamers. It's called The Andy B Show. I'm so glad you're here. I'm your host, Andy B. At least for this week. You never know what could happen next time. I've played a little bit of video games this week, and maybe you have too, but I've got to tell you, there's some incredible stories I'd like to bring to you in and around video games that just we've got to talk about. So buckle up, pull up a chair, wherever you might be. You might be on the treadmill. I don't know where you are. Look, wherever you listen to this show is kind of for you. I'm not here to dictate that to you. Announcement at the top. The advice of get good for difficult video games, still working. It's working out. I told my 8-year-old who is playing Astro Bot when she was having trouble with the chameleon boss to get good as a joke. And she, not knowing a decade plus of internet culture about difficult video games, goes, "Oh, Dad. Yeah. That's right. Gotcha. Like, gotcha. Yeah, I said, get good. Just settle into it, practice the boss, learn the patterns. If you haven't played Astro Bot is an incredible platformer. It was my 2024 game of the year without a doubt. And it's still a big game in 2025 as they release new and increasingly more difficult challenge levels. It's something where people want to see more. It's all of the nostalgia of like all the PlayStation games over the decades, as well as games from around the industry that were popular on PlayStation, packed into an incredibly tight platformer that's easy to learn, hard to master. And they do things with the bosses that you would not expect. I've been playing video games for a long time, and I can't believe like how much they packed to every boss fight to make it simple and approachable, but actually highly in depth. And even young kids, if they can learn the pattern. So this is my child's Hollow Knight. It is her Elden Ring. This is her get good moment. And just a few minutes ago, right before I started this podcast, I watched her settle into it to actually get good. And she beat the chameleon. So everybody celebrate. Throw up a little round of applause out there for my youngest B, who just beat that darn chameleon. She made it happen. She was so excited. And then, of course, if you've played that game, you might remember, I had forgotten, that you unlock the Loco Roco level afterwards. So it goes from this really tough as nails chameleon that's shooting fire at you. You have to stop time to jump through. And then you unlock this wonderful Loco Roco level, which is just fun, full of whimsy and excitement. And that's video games. We did it, everybody. Thanks for joining the show. No, there's more. Okay. Celebration to her, but also celebration to me. I gave the advice and it worked out. So she's also seen me, overcoming some of these really difficult Hollow Knight bosses, just kind of settling into it and going, one more run. Let's do the run back. Let's run it back. Let's do it again. The Hollow Knight boss just ate my butt. Like, let's do it again, And so she's seen that a couple of times over, and it's been really fun. I don't think she's ready for Hollow Knight to play it. It's fine. It's fine to watch. Actually, great. It's a great family game for me to play because it's not really a family game, so to speak. It's not like Astro Bot, which is absolutely a family game, but it's the type of game that is challenging to me as an adult gamer, like really at the limits, right? Like really, like I got to test my patience and just lock in. I got to get good. I got to focus. But it's not most adult games, games that are just like, really intellectually challenging and stimulating for adult gamers. They can't play them in front of the kids usually. you shouldn't. So, I don't recommend it. But this one is like, man, it is tough as nails, but it's also kind of cute, and it's fine. It's fine to play in front of the kids. So it's a really nice mix for that. Yeah, if you have kids, and some of my listeners do, some don't. Those of you that reach out and comment on my threads where you can follow me at andrew.m.b or on the Patreon. You could send me messages, and if you subscribe there, you can get a little access to your host if you'd like by becoming a friend of the show. Some folks have kids, some don't. And when you have them, what you play on the television matters. What you do or don't play matters. And so I'm very cognizant of that, about putting, video games that are appropriate for my kids in front of them. But it means that some of the games I want to play are relegated to, evening hours after they're in bed, which is, you get like maybe an hour. That's it. What else is going on this week? I put out an article yesterday on the Patreon, patreon.com/theandybshow, titled The Top 10 New IPs in Gaming. You can go read it. It's a free article, but I'm going to talk about it on the show. Normally, I don't go down what's in the Gaming 411 newsletter, which is released every Saturday here right on the show. But this one I'm feeling pretty strong about. I put out a short from last week's show on TikTok that got a lot of comments where we said, I think if you aren't excited about video games and you call yourself a video game player in 2025, you need to go see your doctor. You need to go get yourself checked out. Maybe you're feeling depression's real, folks. Like go get it checked out, because there's so much to be excited about in video games right now. It's an incredible time to be in here. And I got some comments on there that were like, "Oh no, it's all sequels, dude. Where's the new IP?" And I was like, okay, this is the defeatist attitude of somebody that's like gonna find something bad to say about video games, find something bad to say about anything. And I'm like, okay, you might be the person I'm talking about. Please go see your primary care physician immediately. Please go talk. I'm not making fun of depression. I'm really concerned that if you call yourself a gamer and you're not into video games in 2025, you might actually be depressed. I'm not joking. It's funny because it's true. Or it could be true. But that got me thinking, like, look, I didn't want to argue with the person. I was happy to have their comment. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for liking the post. But there's an incredible amount of new intellectual property, and I would like to argue that there is a new definition for new IP that we need in the video game industry. People say, where's the new IP? It's all sequels. And I'm like, I get it if we're talking about Call of Duty that's been around for 20 plus years. Yeah, I think 20 plus years. And we're on the 14th mainline sequel or whatever. I get it. That's a franchise that's had a lot of opportunities, a lot of bites at the apple. I get it. But I don't think we can disclude or disinclude games that have had only one sequel. I think that's still new IP, maybe even up to 3, but I'm not willing to go to bat for it yet. I'd have to take a look at the games. But the new Andy B definition that I put out in the article, you can go see it on patreon.com/theandybshow, is that if you have a new IP, new game, and up to its first sequel, that's still a new IP. That's not sequelitis anymore. It's not really a sequel. By the time most game developers get a chance to make their second game, first of all, they were lucky to get the first game out the door. It's hard to ship things in this world. It's hard to create something. And then have it be so successful that you get a green light. If you're an independent studio, you make enough money to survive. Or if you're a publisher-based studio, Sony Studio or anybody else, it does well enough. They say, please make one more, thank you. You probably get the chance to make the game you really wanted to make the first time. But you had these trade-offs of budget and time and scope and everything else. So the second, or the sophomore game, the second debut, I think is still a first new IP. That's the new rule. And there's a corollary. I think if there was an existing franchise that maybe has been dormant for a while, or maybe even it's intellectual property that's been in video games very popularly as a new type of or as a an existing franchise, but there's a new game that comes out that totally flips the script, changes the way the game is being played, changes the way you would interact with it. And I don't just mean like from first person to third person, though maybe you can make that big of a difference. I mean, it's like, hey, this is basically a new way of playing this type of video game that you never would have played before. Let me just help you. They've never done this in Call of Duty. They've never done it in Madden. Maybe, they had those street Madden games for a while. It was like NFL Blitz, NFL Blitz. They had, anyway, these long franchises that just have a one-off, like, okay, maybe you could say it's a new IP, but I think that part's going to be the it when you see it part. But the easy to understand, cut and dry rule of you get to have 2 games in a franchise before we don't call it new IP anymore. So your third game is maybe the sequelitis, is the new rule. And therefore, I have a new list. I have a list. I've created a list for you. We'll update the list over time. But this is the 2025 list from Andy B., your host. In no particular order, we'll work on an ordered list. I just wanted to get the list out the door. Just like these people getting out their first IP, you got to get it out the door. We'll work on it. So this is either new IP, brand new for this year, or in the last 24 months. I'm going to count it because it takes a while to get to playing some games, and or a sequel, up to 1 sequel. And here's the top 10 new IP list without further ado. Split Fiction. Split Fiction is a spiritual sequel of sorts to It Takes Two and A Way Out. It's a 2-player game that is forced 2-player. You can't play 1 player. It has to be 2, and it's couch co-op or internet co-op. And me and one of my kids are playing through It Takes Two, and it's fantastic. Split Fiction. I'll maybe we'll buy it once we're done with It Takes Two. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Kingdom Come and Kingdom Come Deliverance are both games set in like Belgium. I've played a couple hours of the first game. It's like an old medieval game, but it's very very historically based. Like they're big into history over there. If you care about history, you might want to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It is a no magic, no spells, no teleporting. They might have fast travel. Like you're in first person, locked in with a sword. And you can skill up and level up, and you're a blacksmith's son in the first game, and then you go on to do incredible Braveheart-esque battles. So, the next game on the list, number 3, again, no particular order, but it's number 3. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Is that surprising to anybody? Like the first Death Stranding was an incredible game that I still haven't finished. The second one does amazing thing. It's the game that Kojima wished he could have made in the beginning. But he was just trying to get the first Kojima Productions game out the door, man. And look how expansive the new one is. Number 4, Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, let me just say something about number 4 on this list. I don't play Monster Hunter because I tried to play Monster Hunter and I'm bad at it. But I follow along with people that do play it, and they've said this is a huge reinvention of the game, and it is a massive, massive game. Now, that's one you could talk me out of, because when I played the demo or beta version of this, it looked pretty similar. But pretty new, and I'm hearing a really good reinvention. Okay, number 5 on the list of the top 10 UIP. This one's going to be controversial. It's Overcooked 1 and 2. Now you'd say, Andy, what are you saying, buddy? Overcooked 1 and 2? Those games have been around for a while. Okay. It's my list. And I know they've been around for a little while, but it's only 2 games in the series. And it is an incredible co-op game. I've been playing it with my kids, and great couch co-op. I assume it has online, but I've never tried. So much fun. Way better than Plate Up. No shade to Plate Up, but Plate Up was a cooking game that came out on PlayStation Plus sometime in the last few months. And it was really like a roguelike where you're trying to get a great run and perks and then to automate your kitchen. And I just wasn't right. Overcooked 1 and 2, though, fixed levels, challenges with stars. You want to get 3 stars, getting as many points. And it really just takes communication. And you can ace a level. There was less up and down about the run. And so I really like Overcooked 1 and 2. And for me, it's the first time I've been playing them. So that's new IP to me, and it's my list. Number 6, Helldivers 2. I didn't play the first Helldivers. I've seen screenshots of it. It, in my brain, was always like a top-down or 3D or 2.5D isometric game, and I just never messed with it. I missed it when it first came out. Helldivers 2 is like still taking the PvE co-op world by storm. The updates and releases they put out are nuts. I've been playing it with the Halo ODST Warbond that came out and unlocking the Halo web. Just as an aside about Helldivers for a minute, if you're playing Helldivers and you haven't picked up that ODST thing, it's got the submachine gun in there, and then you can get that shield, and so you can be shielding with the submachine gun, crouching down. Ooh, that's some good gameplay. Number 7. It's due in a few weeks. It could be that by the time you hear this, it's out. October 2nd, I think, is Ghost of Yotei. That'll be the second in the Ghost Now franchise, Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei. And Sucker Punch has been around for a while. They've been making great games for decades. But this is really the second game. And, if you watch that deep dive video about what they're going to be doing in that game, they're making the game they wish they could have made. And they made a great first game. Samurais, baby. Number 8 out of 10 of the top 10 new IPs in video games, based on my rules. This one's easy, though. Number 8, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, a French RPG, an FRPG, bringing turn-based strategy back into the mainstream. This game has incredible music, tight menu systems, and you might go, what do the menus matter? It's like, if you're in a turn-based RPG, the menus matter a lot. They better be interesting. Some people say, it just looks like the Persona menus, and yeah, kind of. But it's French, so leave Clair Obscur alone. Number 9, Donkey Kong Bonanza. And before you say, what are you talking about? Donkey Kong's there's never been a Donkey Kong game like this one, ever. And the things they do, and that you might say, well, it's very similar to Super Mario Odyssey. And it's like, is it though? I mean, kind of. No, this is a whole new IP. The way that this game works, this is the, you know it when you see it, secondary part of the rule, where it's like, technically it's not about the first or second sequel. It's about, this is a reinvention of the way that game is played. We've never played a Donkey Kong game like this or any Nintendo game like this. Incredible new IP. We'll see if we ever get anything else in Bonanza. They did just release a expansion pack for like $20 that has I haven't played it, the expansion pack. It's like it's a run-based roguelite mode. And the last one, and maybe the last should be first, number 10 in the new IP rules, is Hollow Knight Silksong, the second Hollow Knight game. They might say, Hollow Knight's been around forever. It's only been 2 games. And you can see from the amount of people that are just getting into it, they're just finding what Hollow Knight's about, that really the first game, which was incredible, made a huge impact, very successful, is not nearly as known until now with the second game. Silksong is really when they've gone, you know what, this is the game we really would make. And there was an article that came out where they said, we have so many new options. Like, is the game too tough? Everybody, we've been talking about game difficulty here on the show for a while. And we said, is the game too tough? They didn't even have, apparently, a starting zone when they first created Silksong. Somewhere along the way, they were like, okay, we need a soft intro to this. I haven't heard that they've done a lot of play testing on the game when they were creating it. But this quote here from GamesRadar.com, where there was an interview with Team Cherry, they said that the headline is, Silksong's first area was only added after Team Cherry realized it needed a softer intro. Quote, we were trying to be kind of respectful to the player. We're not trying to baby them. So they added the Moss Grotto. And it's ever since Sonic the Hedgehog in the Green Hills Zone, having a nice green nature base, like blue sky, sunshine intro to a game is almost always pretty good. Give me the tough as nails stuff after you give me a little, Okay. Here's the other quote from the article that you need to know about. Author and curator Ginny Maxwell. Who's Ginny Maxwell? Explains that Team Cherry identified the need for a calmer space that allowed players to more easily acquaint themselves with the game's control scheme and Hornet's agility and relatively complex moveset. The complexity and additional moveset that Hornet has versus the Knight from Hollow Knight, or the Ghost, I'm not actually sure what we call him. I think it's the Knight. Has said that's the reason why, yes, Silksong is harder, but you also have more options. There's way more options for you to do things in the game, and therefore we had to make the rest of the game tough. It needed to be tough because now you have a lot of options, and it could be that there's so many options that there's some cheesing you could do. But most of what I'm hearing about how Silksong is going is not that it's easy to cheese, is that it's tough as nails still. So that's the top 10 new IPs in gaming. What do you think of the list? Let me know in the comments. You can go out to the article on patreon.com/the show. It's the latest post up in the Gaming 411 newsletter section. And let me know what you think. Do you like my rules? Moving on. Next up, a couple of quick hit stories. We've got, is there such thing as too many video games? I think so. Tokyo Game Life on Threads said that they found a Switch 2 release calendar on Reddit. Thanks for going to Reddit so that I don't have to. It's fine. They said, there's probably a dozen titles on the list that they wanted to check out just from this year alone. And I'm not going to show you the list, and I can't read the list. It's this visual graphic. It shows like at least a dozen or 2 dozen games in September and October, and over a dozen in November. And then in December, there's only like 4 games because you really should have had all your games out before December. Get them out and ready for Black Friday. But they have like Octopath Traveler 0 and Metroid Prime in December, which is like, I'm probably going to play Metroid Prime. I might play Octopath Traveler 0. I don't know. There's a lot of Switch video games coming out. There's a lot of video games coming out on Xbox Game Pass. So they gave us the classic coming soon on Xbox Game Pass. But they're going to put Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. So if you're an Xbox Game Pass person, just a couple of announcements for you, things that I picked out that I kind of think are interesting out of the list of Game Pass games coming soon, which I assume that's in the next few weeks, but who knows? Hades, not Hades 2, which is coming out this week on Switch. This week. Visions of Mana. Is that a remake of Visions of Mana? Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. A bunch of other games I'd never heard of. Frostpunk 2. Modern Warfare 3, in case you needed something to play until the new Call of Duty comes out. And Peppa Pig World Adventures. Don't miss out on Peppa Pig, man. For the kids. My youngest told me, Dad, I think I'm a little old now for Peppa Pig. And now that I'm a little older, I think she's a little creepy. Which made me laugh and also broke my heart because she was Peppa Pig for like 3 Halloween trick-or-treatings in a row. Yeah. But also had a little bit of that realization of why we think clowns are weird now, not just because of that one famous weirdo clown, but also because it's just a little weird. PlayStation themselves put out an article this week about being hands-on with the new I almost said Call of Duty, Battlefield 6 escalation mode. So they've got like a blog up there about Operation Firestorm. Basically, it's big maps, big vehicles, and destructible buildings. So huge all-out warfare sessions. Couple of folks in my little friends group last night, they were texting. They're like, "Hey, you guys are we buying Battlefield 6?" Yes, I think I've decided that I'm in for Battlefield 6 this year. So gonna get there. A couple more quick hits in the news. I saw a flash of news come by somewhere in the last week, and I saved it. I didn't check this out until today. And now I'm like kind of freaking out excited about this new game called Dispatch. Dispatch is made by some of the developers from Tales from the Borderlands and other Telltale games. And it's going to be an episodic 8-week, one release every two episodes will be released every week across 4 weeks. So they're dropping it episodic. It's like a TV show, and it looks like a little bit like Invincible, the Amazon like superhero show. And it turns out it's a bunch of superheroes, and you play as a guy that wasn't super himself, but he had a mech, like a crime fighting mech, and he would wear the superhero outfit and then get into the mech, but that his nemesis destroyed his mech suit. And so now he can't fight crime, but he still works for the superhero agency. So he goes to dispatch, hence the name of the game, other superheroes out to their jobs. So you can already see that there's like puzzle solving about which criminals are we going to respond to, which one am I going to dispatch out? But then there's all kinds of not just puzzle solving there, but dialogue choices. And, I can't wait for some superhero to remember that I sent them to, out on a job that, fought crime and it didn't go well. And maybe it's my fault. And so I got to tell you, if you're into any of the Telltale games, I did not know this was coming. I had never seen it. It is instantly on my PlayStation wish list. Apparently it comes out on PlayStation and PC with Aaron Paul as one of the voices. Aaron Paul. Not just Aaron Paul. Like, it's kind of like they have a huge group of folks. Critical Role alums, Laura Bailey, Travis Willingham, Matthew Mercer are in there. And Jeffrey Wright, who I'm pretty sure is Gordon from The Batman. He's in here. It looks real good. So apparently it's a Critical Role game project. I did not know. It's $30. You're going to get all 8 episodes. Comes out October 22nd. I got pretty stuff. Again, October, packed for games. That's a week after Ball Pit. And that's a week after Battlefield. And that's a week after Sucker Punch's Ghost of Yotei. So, man, you just can't cover it all. And I can't even cover it all in this podcast. I can't cover it all, but I am looking forward to Dispatch. It looks pretty good. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be out this week. So if those of you that are listening to me, like I'll probably be a little bit less accessible on the social medias this week. I'll be on travel. And yeah, but still planning on having a show come out every week. No problem. But I don't know. I might do some reporting on site. I got a work conference coming up this week. And yeah, I don't know. Like, what if we did a podcast on the road? If we did a roadcast, did a podcast from a hotel room. It'd be kind of neat. There's so much stuff coming out, and yeah, I really can't cover it all. I'm gonna have to do like a separate podcast for this one. We've got new games like Absalom, which I haven't covered yet, just like Dispatch. There's a great article out with Stephen Totillo about like his thoughts about getting into massive open worlds that I'd like to talk about and deep dive with you about. But really, what I need to do is just thank my listeners that are in Australia, mate. 0.6% of you in Australia, or of my listeners are in Australia, not 0.6% of Australians. That would be amazing. I don't know if I'm that likable to Australians. Australians are likable to me with their cute accents and their dingo babies. Thanks for listening out there if you're in Australia. And it's a little bit of a short one today. That's it. That's the show for today. Yeah, the top 10 new IPs in gaming, Dispatch, and some quick hits on what games are coming out. Like there's so much coming up that I'm super excited about. I'm excited that my kids are getting good at beating bosses in video games. I don't know. Just thankful to have you here listening today. Share the show with people that you like. Let me know if you like this shorter format. I had way more content than I could normally get to today. And I might just break it down into smaller episodes and just do more, early access episodes on Patreon. I don't know. You can go to patreon.com/theandyb show. And looking forward to talking to you again very soon. Thanks for listening. Bye.